have different associations and images, but for the most part there are a certain number that are shared, and when they're shared, people can recognize one another belonging to the same group. It also involves, does it not, some special relationship between man and God, which therefore some are involved in and some can be excluded from. Now, if God is one, and we just consider the highest term for God to be the one, now, what associations do you have for one? What images do you have for one? Do certain things and not do certain things because of one? Go to church or a temple because of one? Doesn't fit, does it? It doesn't fit. And that's rather curious because we want to add something else. There is no special relationship between the idea of one and you. There's no special relationship. There's no war you have to go for. There's no sacrifice you have to perform to it, for it. But yet, if I can bring you to see how the idea of the one is being used, it has a distinct advantage over the idea of God as an image, as a word, in the pursuit of a higher, more meaningful life. Let's see how we can do it. If I were to say, tell me, as you're going through your daily world, where would you look to detect, right? Detect, see, imagine the divine as God? Is there anything in the everyday world, this truck, that brings you to realize the idea of the divine or God? You say, no, I got the wrong thing. I say, a bigger piece? In contrast, let's take a look at this idea of the one. This is the central notion in Platonic philosophy. And basically I'm centering my thought tonight not on Proclus, which I've been doing up to this point, but into a thinker called Plotinus, who lived in the 3rd century. And of all the philosophers, if you want to read someone who can write beautifully, I assure you, you'll love Plotinus. And this is what he says when he talks about the one. It is by the one that all beings are beings. Curious. Now his reasoning, for what could exist were it not one? Upon losing its oneness, whatever it is, it loses existence. Well then, this is saying, the first statement is saying about the one, it's the very condition for a thing being what it is that it's a one. It's the condition for things being. And what could exist were not the one? Therefore, it also includes the idea, by heavens, you need this idea in order to talk about existence. Upon losing its oneness, it loses existence. So now we have coming into existence and passing out of existence, the whole idea of life and death. caught within one word, the one. So look here, look around. Anything you see, anything you distinguish, there's a one. This is one. Ah, the top is one. When I call it one, I ignore everything else when I call it one. Right? Now, how can we account for the fact that whatever we experience is a one? And how do you go further and account for the fact that of all the things you experience, you never experience the one? Let's try. I'm going to take this great artwork off for a moment, come back to it later, build another one. I want to use these words now. One, oneness, or unity. I want to use the idea of whole, all, some. Now, literally speaking, would you agree, when you look at this, in terms of sight, you don't see all of it, you don't see the back of it, when you see the back, then you don't see the other side, etc. Three-dimensional figure, no matter where you look at it, there's a part you don't see. So therefore, in terms of experience, you only see part and infer the whole. Oh, wait a minute. But the parts that make this up are not loosely connected. See, when you experience this and look at this, would you agree it's more than just a bunch of parts collected together in a bag, loosely scattered as it were? It has a certain unity. Now, strictly speaking, do you see the unity? Look, suppose one of us were to say, of course you see the unity. I'd say, oh, good, 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 good. By the way, when you hear something, is the only thing you ever hear sound? Have you ever heard a word? Or do you say, no, I don't hear words, I hear sounds, and I make certain judgments and infer certain things about the sound, and then I come out with a word. Is that right? The only thing you ever hear then is sound. Is the only thing you ever see then color? Is the only thing you ever see color? Well then, do you ever see unity? You infer unity. Ah, look here. You infer the presence of unity. You infer the presence of all. And we said unity is another word for oneness. But yet this is one. Now when I say this is one, am I referring to it as all, whole, oneness, or am I going a step further and ignoring the fact that this has a particular kind of unity and call it one? Let's see. Could this particular thing go through stages in its existence as it comes into existence, and finally when it passes out of existence? Would you agree for a certain period of that time it's going to take on this shape? And then we can call it one, can we not? But as it disintegrates, we might still call it one, with parts disintegrating.